Test, test, test. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Let me know how we sounded. Let me know how we sounded. So we got a few setups we're looking at. So members, I take back what I said last night. We're still going to be going live during FOMC, the 2 p.m. FOMC news event. But I looked at the news wrong, right? So today we got a lot of news, by the way. We got 815 USD news, 830 USD news, 945 Canadian news, 1030 Canadian news. So I missed up the 1030 Canadian news. I think it was USD news as well. So I told the members last night that we was going to be looking for setups right now and not trading New York session because all the news. But after 9:30 open, we can look for some setups, but we do got news at FOMC. So depending on what the volume looks like between now and after 8:15, 8:30 news, we'll kind of determine like what we're going to be doing, or if we're just going to wait till tomorrow to look for setups. Because again, like we was talking about, well, we're going to wait a little bit to see some more people hop up in here. So I don't, obviously I'm going to have to repeat myself, but not repeat myself as many times. All right, y'all. So make sure you go ahead and like the live, y'all. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Just dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. Got a new video dropping for y'all today as well. So make sure to have y'all's noties on if they're not on already. But if y'all was in the TikTok live yesterday, we talked about this a little bit more in depth and detail in the live yesterday. What's going on, Chanel? I see you up there. What's going on? What's going on? So if y'all was in the live yesterday, we broke down this GU setup. And this was an example of, again, how if we look at this week, a lot of charts, again, market structure-wise. Remember we was talking about the support level that got rejected twice. We broke through that. This week, that's what we was talking about as well during the Sunday chart analysis. But you can see how we kind of halted here and we were rejecting this level yesterday. So again, we're going to need some volume to break through this level of traffic, just like in the past with GU. When we had these levels of traffic, we need the volume to break through, right? When we had these levels of traffic, we need a volume to break through, right? When we had these levels of traffic, we need a volume to break through, right? When we see, let's go to the next chart. Right? When we have this consolidation, we need a volume to break out. So that's what we're looking at or looking for, just the opposite direction, right? We have this level of traffic. We need volume to break through this so we can have the downtrend come into play, right? So that's what's going on with a lot of charts right here, right? We see the same thing with US30, right? US30, we had this consolidation, took some volume to break above it, right? So now we're about to see if this week going into the new month, if we're going to be able to respect this level of support and see new higher highs get made, or if we're going to reject and reverse like the last 2 times we hit this level. You see what I'm saying? We can see the same thing when we look at gold. Right? There's a reason why gold keeps on consolidating repeatedly, right? Because again, last week we went for buys last week. Remember, Monday and Tuesday last week we went for buys, right? Price keeps on struggling to hold this low as resistance or hold this low as support, right? You see how price constantly is rejecting these levels, playing pinball. So when price broke above this resistance level and turned to support, we went for buys, right? But this is the same levels where the all-time highs are at. And we clearly see the last time we hit this level, price failed to hold this level as support and caused reversal. And then the last time we hit this level, price failed to hold and rejected. And then the very first time we made all-time highs, and price came back down, we reversed and rejected. So just like with US30, just like with GU, just like with GJ, which we're about to show in a little bit. Depending on what happens this week and next week, we're either going to see volume come in and have the current trend continue, or we're going to see a reversal and new trends begin next month and next week, right? So when we go into the bigger time frames, this is what we see, right? Price keep on hitting this resistance level, but failing to hold it as support. And if you guys got the copy of the price action technical analysis playbook, y'all know that's what needs to happen for the uptrend to continue. All right. So today and this week's been very interesting as far as that's concerned. Now, yesterday we broke down the sell setup on GU. And this is another example where I always talk about you got to understand how to read the charts. You got to trust your analysis and understand what's happening at all times, right? Because stop loss getting hit doesn't always mean that you're wrong, right? So we clearly see one who's catching sells all this month on GU, right? We've been catching sells all this month on GU, riding the wave down. But two, we saw clearly on Monday, price went as projected, did a nice push to the downside. So then we saw price turn the support level into resistance and drop down. And then if y'all was on the live yesterday, we also showed a clear example of why we don't breakout trade, because we was looking for sells here or here, right? We missed this dump. If y'all was on the live yesterday, this dump happened right before London session. London session started right here. So again, in yesterday's live, we was talking about was either going to look for sells if we could break and hold this low as resistance, or come back to where the initial drop was and look for sells here. So when we go here, and if y'all was in the live, we saw a clear example why we wait for that retest. So then when price retraced, we went right back to our initial ideal entry point where price was treated as low as support, trading into resistance. You see price clearly wicked and treated this as resistance. We hit TP1 and then we got wicked out. So then stop loss got hit. So look what happened literally, right? Literally an hour after stop loss got hit. Price went right back down to our entry level, retested, turned it back into resistance, and then did the exact move we was looking for. So imagine if we would have over leveraged on this initial first entry for whatever the case may be, whether that was because we've been on the crazy win streak this month or we've been going crazy all this year. By the way, you should hit that first link in the description, join the free signal, free Telegram. Y'all see on your screens how we did last month and last quarter. Or whether that was because you just don't know how to calculate your lot size or whatever the case may be. Right? Imagine if you would have took this L or didn't get wicked out and you would have got emotional upset or just assumed that you was wrong and try to go for buys or close your computer and then look at the charts afterwards. You wouldn't have been able to analyze what price did, why price did it, and what it's potentially going to do next, right? Because again, when price hit our stop loss, did it blow through these other levels and go the opposite direction? No. It literally hit our stop loss and then came right back down to this level, retested, held as resistance, and then dropped to do the exact move we was looking for, right? So this is why I always say don't chase price, go with the flow of price. Because again, when you go with the flow of price, you follow these rules, not only are you going to lose a lot less, but when you lose trades, it's easy to determine why it was a losing trade, right? And remember, I say it all the time. Every time our stop loss gets hit, I say it all the time. It's never because we was wrong. It was because of one or two things, right? Because again, we do not control the markets. There's only three things we control when it comes to trading. We control when we enter a trade, we control when we exit a trade, and we control how much we risk per trade, right? We don't control the trend. We don't control when price does something, when price doesn't do something. We don't control when volume kicks in. We don't control none of that, right? Which is, again, why we want to then go for high probability, high quality setups. So if I know that we're clearly in a downtrend when it comes to GU, and I know that I waited for our retest confirmations, and I know I followed all my rules, and stop loss does get hit, I know it's because of one or two things, right? Just like with GJ, it's either because one, we got caught in a reversal, which we can't control, or two, some were just low volume or wasn't ready to do the move yet, right? It's never because we should have went for buys instead of sells instead of buys, or because it was counter trend trading, or because we broke our rules, right? So again, it makes it very, very simple to figure out exactly why price did what it did and help you determine what you want to do. You get what I'm saying? So again, you always want to review your trades, winners, losers. Just like winning trades. Don't just be happy you want to trade. Review the trade to understand why it was a winner. You get what I'm saying? So we got a few setups we're going to be looking at today, y'all. Again, if you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. We're looking at your charts, drop them in the chat. Make sure to like the live, y'all, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. But GJ is still in reversal territory, right? So again, like we was talking about, all these charts, depending on what happens this week and next week's, going to determine if the trends are going to continue or we're going to see reversals and new trends begin, right? Same thing that we talked about with US30, same thing that's happening with NAS, SPX, same thing we just broke down with gold, same thing we just broke down with GU. We got similar things taking place on GJ. And again, it's not a coincidence, right? So when we look at GJ, we see a similar situation going on. Give me one sec. Shout out to the members and students, y'all. I had some new people join last night. Make sure to explore the channels. Again, we're going to be going live later on today. Not during ADP. I got some stuff to do during ADP. But we're going to be going live during the first FOC news event. We're going to be breaking down the trades we took this week, maybe last week, and overall this month. Going to be answering questions, all that good stuff. And just like any of the other member only lives, if y'all missed the lives, the live recordings are going to be uploaded later on that day. You can also watch the past lives as well. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. So again, I said last night I wasn't going to trade New York session, but I just looked at the news before we went live today, and we do have a little window after ADP and the 8:30 news to look for some setups before FOMC pops off. So again, I'm not going to force anything, but if I do see something I like, we're going to take it. That's what we do. Give me 1 second, y'all. Make sure to follow my Instagram and TikTok as well. Y'all see that scroll at the bottom of y'all screens. Instagram playmaker_away, TikTok _playmakeraway_. Post every day on both pages. All right, so again, same thing we saw and we broke down with US30, right? How we're going to be seeing if new all-time highs are going to be getting made or new higher highs are going to get made, or if we're going to see history repeat itself and see a reversal take place at these levels. Same thing we just broke down with gold on the bigger time frame. Same thing we just broke down with GU. GJ, no coincidence, is in a similar situation. Again, you look to the left, it's going to explain what's happening in the present and what could potentially happen in the future. So we clearly see here that the last time price hit these levels, just like with gold, just like with US30, it failed to hold these levels as support. And we see here price clearly reject this level, treat as resistance, and reject it. And look what happened When we was catching buys, it hit the same resistance level. Price rejected, right? But then the bullish momentum came back. We broke above it, and then we spent the entire month trying to maintain and hold this low as support. And then this week, we rejected in a reversal territory. So depending on what happens this week and next week, we're either going to see volume come in and blow through this level, or we're going to see a new trend come into play, right? So that's basically what's going on with a lot of these charts right now. All right, so again, it's very important to understand the market conditions so you know how to go about trading during these market conditions. You know what I'm saying? Because every day, every week is a little bit different. Now, price does the same stuff fundamentally, but again, market structure, volume, flow of price is still very important. It's still going to determine like what's possibly going to take place and all that good stuff. Right. So US30, this is the last line of defense for US30 as far as for me to personally look for buys, because again, if we don't hold this low as support, we're going to hold it as resistance. We hold it as resistance. We have a high likelihood of price rejecting to the downside. Now, before that even happens, we do have this level here that it will still have to break through. But as far as right now, I want to see price maintain a hold 44,650 as support for me to consider looking for buys. Right, if we can maintain hold as support, we can look for buys, just like how we caught buys last week on Friday. And just like how we caught this buy set on Wednesday right here, this is still a valid setup for a buy. It's just now, especially because we didn't hold these levels above as a support, this is just now, instead of just being an ideal entry, is more of a line of defense. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you see how price was treating level as resistance, broke above turning support, went for buys, retraced, went for buys, and now we see price kind of consolidating at this level. Right, just like with gold, right? Monday price dumped below this level, but we see yesterday and today price just consolidating. So again, depending on what happens this week and next week, it's going to kind of determine what price does, right? Even on the other time frames, we see clear lower lows getting made. All right, clear lower lows. So we needed to hold this low as resistance for a new lower low to get made. But we see prices now right back on this low as support. So depending on how it reacts here, again, it's going to determine if we're going to see the bearish momentum continue, or we're going to see the bullish momentum come into play. All right, so trading isn't always about jumping into the charts. Jumping into trades and positions and then try to catch a repeat candlestick. It's really about understanding what's taking place so you can, again, determine what you're trying to go for. Because, again, trading is not about catching every pip. It's about going for high probability, high quality setups. Right? So, again, it requires a little bit of patience, but I'd rather patiently wait for an ideal setup than just take trades just to take trades and lose a lot more trades than needs to be lost. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's what's going on right now. So again, we got a lot of news today. We got 8:15 USD news, 8:30 USD news, 9:45 Canadian news, 10:30 Canadian news, then 2 and 2:30 USD news. And then later on tonight, probably around 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock midnight, we got JPY news popping off. And then at like 1:30, 2 a.m., we got another JPY news popping off tomorrow morning. And then we have 8:30 USD Canadian news Thursday. And then we got news Friday. So this week, probably because the first is on a Friday, is probably why it's like that. Because usually it's the first Wednesday of the month that we have ADP, right? Like if we go to most of the first weeks of the month, it's usually the first Wednesday that we see ADP pop off, right? Like we see the Wednesday of July, we had ADP pop off 8:15, and then Friday, Friday was the 4th of July, so that's probably why things are off this month. Probably because that Friday was the 4th of July. But we go to the first week of June, Wednesday, 8:15, ADP, Friday, 8:30, average earnings, non-farm employment, unemployment rate. Right, we go to this one's like the middle of the week, so this one will probably be off us a little bit as well. So we do this to this. again Wednesday. So it's kind of like how it is this month. I mean this week, right? 'Cause today's 30th, which is a Wednesday as well, which is kind of funny. And then we have 8:15, 8:30 ADP news, right? Then Friday, 8:30, again, average hourly earnings, non-farm employment, unemployment rate is literally the same orders, like they copy and pasted. Again, this is how the first week and last week of the month always play out, right? So again, we look at March. Obviously, the first was on a Saturday, so we go to this first week of the month. What do we see on Wednesday? 8:15 ADP. What do we see on Friday? 8:30 average hourly earnings, non-farm employment, unemployment rate, Canadian news, right? So most first weeks of the month, unless it's like this one and the one in April, is usually the first Wednesday and first Friday. We got that news, right? So again, we're gonna see what. Let's go back to. There we go. There we go. I was like, why does it look like that? All right, there we go. This was a little bit different. I think it's because I got Sunday on here and Saturday. But yeah, this is the right date. So yeah, we're gonna see how this today plays out. Was looking at a GU setup here. It didn't retest my level, which is why we didn't take the trade. Because again, we don't rush setups or FOMO. But if GU can maintain a whole 3370 as resistance, we could look for sales going down to 3345 and possibly back down to these lows here at 3320. US30, like I said, we can maintain 44,650 as support. We can look for buys to go back up to the highs here at 44,960. And we could also look at possible buys before that if we could break above 44,800 at support. Um, Gold, game plan is still the same. Right, game plan is still the same as far as gold is concerned. If we could break below and hold 3324 as resistance, we're going to look for sales going down at 3306. Or if we break above and hold 3374 as support, we're going to look for buys like we did last week going to 3398. Again, like we talked about earlier, the reason why we're not looking for any setups in between is because, again, I only go for high probability, high quality setups. Right. And the GJ is in reversal territory as well. So kind of the same thing like with gold. If we break above and hold 198.55 as support, we're going to look for buys going up to the highs at 199.05. Or if we break below 197.35 and hold that as resistance, we're going to look for sales going to 196.95. So just a little bit of a patience game. Again, you see US30 kind of just chilling right here. And we see possible lower lows trying to get made on the other time frames, which is why I ideally want to look for a buy here, because I know if we at least break above and hold this up as support and I go for a buy here, I have a higher likelihood of price not only going my way, but the bullish momentum uptrend continuing. So you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we look at new charts, drop them in the chat. New 5 minutes just popped up. We got another 4.5 minutes till the next 15 pops up. We'll be on for a little bit longer, y'all. Again, got a new video dropping for y'all later on today. Dropped the video for y'all yesterday and Monday, so make sure to check those out after the live. All playlists are up to date as well. All right, new 15 just popped up. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we're looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. So we see prices consolidating. So we don't see any action between now and 6 a.m. We're just gonna wait for after 8:15, 8:30 news to play out and see what 9:30 open looks like, and then we'll looking for setters between there and like 12, right? Because again, we got FOMC at 2 o'clock, but the game plan is still the same nonetheless. What's going on, my boy? Nothing much. Just was breaking down the market structure, market conditions, what we're looking for today. Again, the way markets are looking, probably not going to take anything until after the 8:15, 8:30 news and 9:30 New York Open. And again, I was just saying that last night I said we wasn't going to trade New York session, but we are going to be looking for setups after 8:30 news, 9:30 Open, and we'll see if we can find something before that FOMC. But we're still going to be going live during that FOMC. But yeah, as we can see, price is just kind of chilling right now. So yeah, we just see price vibing right now. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up the live, y'all. Again, if we don't see any action between now and 6 a.m., I recommend waiting until after the 8:15, 8:30 news plays out. Then we're gonna see what the 9:30 open looks like. And we're gonna look for sales between 9:30 and 10 a.m. Again, we have 8:15 news, 8:30 news, 9:45 Canadian news, 10:30 Canadian news, then 2 and 2:30 we got USD FOMC news popping up. Then later on tonight, we also got JPY news. All right, new video dropping for y'all in the New York session today, so make sure to have y'all's notice. Want to be on the lookout for that. Dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. I'm going to be going live with the members during FOMC today. So it depends how I'm feeling. So I might not go live on TikTok today, probably tomorrow. But if I do go live today, like always, I'll let y'all know. But I do got some new posts for Instagram and TikTok lined up for y'all today as well. Shout out to everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody that's been alive since the beginning. Shout out to everybody that's been alive since y'all joined. Again, make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join the free stream for Telegram. You see on your screen how we did last month and last quarter. We've been absolutely killing it this month. We've just been picking up where we left off. Again, the sale is still active. Use discount code is my time for 20% off everything. But yeah, y'all, again, like I always say, the first and last week of the month are always the toughest. I say that all the time, and we literally see prices super slow and choppy right now. But we broke down earlier at the beginning of the live what's been taking place and why price is doing it. So if y'all missed that, I do recommend rewinding to the beginning of the live so you can understand what's taking place and what we're looking for, not just today, but overall this week and next week. So we'll be back at the same time tomorrow on the session, 3 a.m. EST later. I'll see you up in here.